Okay, we are live. Why am I streaming on a Sunday? I have no idea. But I felt like doing a bit of work, and I figured I may as well stream it. Not going to be doing stuff all day today. Just like want to start on a few things. Yeah. So there's still some unsolved problems here, but at the same time, I want to start thinking about a minimal implementation of carbs. So I'm just going to start scrolling through here and seeing what stuff I think we won't need. Okay, million dumb imports. That's, dozen lines of imports at least. It'll be gone. Okay, crazy transformation. Weird. A lot of that's not going to be needed. Search scales, yes. Wombi stuff can go. Okay, this is just super convoluted logic. No idea why this is a thing. Oversampling here is kind of crazy. Can't sample a candidate. So this is true, actually. What does this mean? That's bizarre. Okay, sample, yeah, fine. Get prefer groups with multiple samples. Wait, what? A single sample can only be better if it is better than the max of the previous group. Multi-sample group can be higher, can be better if the mean is higher. Okay. Quantile transform. Perf plot. Duplicated all this code. And that's all that's in here. These other ones we will, oh, actually, there's just expected improvement. But this, for instance, these are not terrible, actually. I think they're named poorly. Okay, let's see what else I haven't seen. Get resample. Non-conservative version, so we can resample. We specifically want, I see. And then let's see what they did here. They did fail to count. So they did do some good logging. Mm. So, they actually, I gotta give them some credit here because when I'm looking at what a lot of the code is for, it's not as bad as I originally thought. They still have way more code than they need. And I think that that's probably why they're so confused here. and why there are so many things that are just like, I don't know, hazy. Like, things here don't make sense, some decisions seem poorly motivated, and I think it's just if you had half this amount of code, things would be clearer. So I think that's what I'm going to just start on doing. I think we'll just do this directly in PufferLib as well. So what I'll do then is actually, one thing I want to do first here before we start this. I want to see if we can just real quick grab some hypers from the latest sweep so we run an experiment while this is happening. This is our latest sweep progress. So we'll just take where's my query? What the hell? Hello? Environment. Oh. Still no? Alright, I don't know what you're doing, Neptune. I'll just click it like this and hope it doesn't lag too bad. I think I like this one the best. I really need to be able to filter this though. You see the UI spazzes out. There, now it works. $14,896. There we are. Here's the chart for this one. This is very good. We'll just go grab the params. 14,896. There we are. Let's see how different the params are for this. Okay, substantially lower learning rate. Interesting. The score. Let's not forget the n param here. Even lower at 512 is interesting. So that's a very slow run. It's still 300K. Entropy coefficient has been taken all the way down to the minimum value. Lambda is a little higher, which is odd. Gamma being higher, oh no, it's not odd. Yeah, these are longer maps. This makes perfect sense. This is like a textbook, exactly what you would expect. Mini batch size, 16K, but it says 4 mini batches. So I believe what do you pass in here? You do pass in mini batch size, right? Yeah, you pass in mini batch size. Yeah, you don't pass in so we can actually get rid of that. Mini batch size gets passed in as this. It's actually probably one of the things that made it difficult, but we can get rid of that. Total time steps, this is 180 mil. Update epochs of 4. And I think that's about it. Batch size. I did it for the ones with extremely low mini batches, it looks like. That's fine. We'll leave it alone for now. We'll just not sweep this one. Okay. Well, hey, welcome. Tune. Puffer grid, train. And we'll let this run in the background while we work on other things. So now we have this baseline up and running. We can go work on our hyperparam sweep stuff. I think I'm going to make this. Yeah, of course. IG. Well, what's IG? If you're here for RL stuff, then yeah, sure. We're going to take all of these. Oops. This is not getting imported. PufferLib. So let's see the main stuff we're gonna want. This up to the top. Carbs, params. Basically done Hugging Face, some of the lectures of David Silvers. Let me see, is the Hugging Face course good? I think Costa was involved, which means it should be good. Costa's like the best. He's awesome. I've worked with him quite a bit in the past. Oh yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is very nice. Okay, so the only thing really missing from here is some formalism. Let me just ask you, for what purpose are you looking to get into reinforcement learning? Are you interested in getting into the science side of RL? Are you trying to build stuff? Are you trying to use this at work? Like, what purpose? And then I can tell you, I can direct you from there. Because the answer is going to vary quite a bit, depending on what you're trying to do. Also, your background. Are you more mathematically inclined, more engineering inclined? Do you like both? Do you like neither? So this config Yes, this is just flattening. Gotten to RL after working quite some time in LM research. Fair enough. I technically started in natural language processing as well, though that was before transformers existed. So I guess the first thing here is just going to be that this is not... Hey, what's going on? Just doing a little bit of morning work on a Sunday. I don't know. Probably going to do this for a bit, then get breakfast, go for a run, do a couple non-RL things for a bit, catch up on some other random admin and other work, and then chill for a bit. Normally I'd be going for long runs on Sundays, but it's going to take a little bit to get back into the shape to be able to be running for like 3 hours. Pneumonia is no joke. So I don't know, probably just do like 5-6 miles today. But currently I'm just like, it's this why it's going to be slow here is I have an existing stack of crazy abstractions and I'm trying to figure out how to piece them apart and like simplify everything. Want to get good at RL as a top up and also try to do something in agentic AI and post training. Okay, so that's going to be a very, very different set of things from what I'm usually doing because to give you an idea, right, what I do in RL, we do like ultra high performance training of small models for the most part. So like we have things like this, we have things like this. We've got, things like this, and these all train at hundreds of thousands to 1 million steps per second on a single GPU. So we're looking at perf optimizations of like way more than 1,000x, maybe 10,000 or 100,000x. What you're looking at with language models because it actually matters. You're probably, there are definitely some things in RL that will help you though, if you are trying to work in that space, like getting good at general RL will be useful. The thing that's tricky at the moment is RL as a field has not received the level of investment that the rest of AI has received. So a lot of stuff, it's kind of just feels janky. And like, the thing that's tricky is I could tell you to just go through my quick start guide. And there are a bunch of papers here, right? There are papers here. This is probably good perspective at the very least. And in fact, this video is also good perspective. Not this one. I have a video on, I think it's pinned on my homepage on X. It kind of lays out how I'm looking at RL right now, and it's still pretty well current. I don't know, I pinned the trailer. Did I highlight it at least? Yeah, here it is. It's on highlights, full RL iceberg. That'll kind of give you some insight because the thing is the papers paint a very different picture from reality. The vast majority of papers in RL are just wrong, or they present at least a misleading view because the results tend really not to generalize very well from one environment to the next because RL researchers don't run enough experiments because they don't have compute to run enough experiments because their environments are too slow. So I'm working on that tail end of the loop. We make things slow, we run more experiments, we do research correctly, the science gets corrected, and RL actually makes sense again. But if you're not going all the way down to that end of the stack, at least I think it'll be useful to have some perspective while reading through and getting like a literature background in RL, that a lot of these things are not as clear-cut as they are presented. Get well soon? Oh no, I'm better. I was in the hospital though for several days. It was a close call, frankly. But the main thing is it's just like, yeah, I lost close to 20 pounds and a good chunk of my lung capacity. So I was in fantastic shape beforehand, luckily, which is what saved me. But it's going to be probably a good 6 months of training to get my weight back, to get my fitness back, to be, marathoning and powerlifting properly again. What's PufferLib doing? I just scroll through channels and see a lot of streams on it. So this is, I'm an MIT PhD. Puffer AI is a startup. It's all open source and free. This is my effort to fix reinforcement learning. This is me trying to make all of reinforcement learning simple, consistent, and ridiculously high performance. And it's all done as an open source project with contributors developing new environments, people coming in and picking up RL and helping out using their, their engineering skills. So to give you an idea here, all of these are environments. They're all playable online. They're all written in C. They're all about 1,000 times faster than what you'll find in most of the rest of reinforcement learning. And we're developing more of these. We're using these to do science very, very efficiently to make reinforcement learning sane and consistent. This is my attempt at revolutionizing an important subfield, what I see as probably one of the most underappreciated areas of AI and tech. That is what PufferLib is. And there's lots of content around it. There's this blog posts. I have lots of stuff on X. There's this whole community on Discord. And of course, all the code's open source. So that is what this is. And I stream all the work for various reasons, but it's been a good time for the most part here. Okay, so this interface sucks. Yeah, this interface sucks. So this, we're gonna keep puffer carbs. Carbs parents. Yeah, this is kind of nuts if you're looking at this. Making a certain part of PufferLib. PufferLib is my project. So, I mean, I just stream my development on it. At the moment, I'm working on improving hyperparameter sweeps. So it's a combination of, engineering new environments. I look at existing research papers and I try to improve things there. We run way more rigorous tests than are done in the vast majority of science. Right? We're able to do that because of the performance of PufferLib. It's just all around, we try to fix various areas of RL. All the previous ones, certain part, all the previous ones. Yeah, I mean, all this dev streams are just me working on various things in PufferLib. Most of it is, it's actually kind of split now. Most of it is just me advancing the areas of core puffer development that I think are going to be important. We have a couple contracts with companies, so sometimes I do client stuff, but the way it's set up is like, the only thing that Puffer sells to companies is essentially a service package. So it's like, hey, we want this thing to work better with PufferLib, and then I'll go make it actually work with PufferLib. And because everything's open source, I'd still do it on stream. It's generally a good time. This is a relatively new company. I just graduated this past spring. And already the progress has been absolutely nuts. We've made RL like 1,000 times faster in 8 months or whatever. So it's definitely going well. There are a few areas that I think need to be improved, and this is one of the major ones at the moment. This is a difficult area to improve, but I'm working on it. It's hyperparameter sweeps. LLMs, basically all the knowledge is in the pre-trained model. SFTRL does, reformulates probability. Well, because the pre-trained model is just, it's a completion model, right? Like max probability of next token, which is very far from a usability perspective, that's very far from how you would want to interact with a model and how you would like it to apply all that. So basically, you have a generic compression algorithm and you need to know how to steer it. The hypothesis, right, is that compression is intelligence. And then the RL is how do you steer that? Because, having the world's best zip program, right, is not on its own. That doesn't solve stuff on its own. You have to steer it. Do you think this kind of, thank you, yeah. Do you think this kind of RL being done, which is bringing up good samples in top K, will hit a limit? Yeah, I looked, that's like GRPO I just saw. It's frankly really, if I understand that algorithm correctly, and I only took a quick look at it, it's really embarrassing, I think, that the rest of the field didn't figure that out earlier, because it's a very basic modification of PPO to add top K, which is like something that everyone has known for years works really well with language models. It's also something that I would have never tried in what I do, because like it just makes the algorithm way more expensive. Um, so yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know if that hits limits or not. Do I think that do I think that the current language models as they are right now with GRPO and R1 and everything, do I think that that's going to solve the set of all problems we ever care about? No. That's why I'm working on this, right? I think they're missing a lot of pieces in RL, because frankly, what's being done on language models in RL right now is very basic. It has to be very basic. They can't run any experiments. Their experiments are too expensive. You never try anything remotely crazy when your experiments cost millions of dollars to run. I guess a couple 100,000 in the case of their fine tuning, but still. Generating a lot of samples. Yep. Well, the funny thing is you're not even generating that many samples. You're doing RL with like no data. You know that in PufferLib, we actually can train on more data than all of, say, GPT-4 on one GPU in a few days. That's the difference in scale that we're looking at here. LLMs have crazy compute scale, crazy numbers of parameters, but actually very little data. Very, very little data. And we also have some pretty good empirical and theoretical evidence that reinforcement learning generally requires more samples per model size, like 10x more samples at least, compared to language models in generative learning, which makes sense because reinforcement learning, the way that the loss is constructed, you get less information out of each sample, so you need more samples. PufferLib seems cool, thank you. It's really nice to be able to just see all the environments on here. Like, the thing that tells me that I think that we're on the right track, I think this is just a render bug. The ball go. That was weird. The thing that tells me that I think that we're on the right track, so this is basically, I worked on neural MMO for my whole PhD, and then in like 3 months, I built a version of it around, using the ideas and the approaches of Puffer. This version is way larger, more complex, more visually impressive, runs on web, and is 1,000 times faster than anything I built during my PhD, with like less than a third of the code. So yeah, it's an exciting time. It's a lot of work, mind you. We've already shipped, I think, like, Puffer's about 30,000 lines of code right now, and it's not 30,000 lines of garbage either. Like, it's 30,000 lines pretty darn dense of good stuff. The core is only a few thousand lines, but then it's 20,000 lines of environments, and that's growing rapidly. We have all sorts of contributors. Over 10,000 of that is from contributors. Yeah. So it's actually like a decent chunk of PufferLib is made by contributors, many of whom came in with zero prior RL experience. Basically, anybody who's like can write decent code and is willing to learn stuff, and will like PR cool new environments. I train on the RL side as they go. So now we have like multiple new people who are submitting awesome new environments and who are getting pretty good at the RL side as well. We're going to take all this for now. We're not going to take all of it. Thanks. Look forward to maybe learn and contribute. Yeah, thank you. Stop by streams, join the Discord if you like. We organize all the stuff on there. Not for LLM specifically, but for general RL, this is the place to be at the moment. I would not be doing this full time unless I really thought that there was something there, Fortunately, my job ends up including cleaning up thousands and thousands of lines of code from academia, but we do a little housekeeping. What in the heck? This Oh, you can seed it. I doubt that's reproducible, but also we're getting rid of these freaking type annotations. I hate type annotations in Python so much. They don't do anything. And the only reason you need them is because you're overbuilding everything. Initial search radius. Look at all this like adder, validator. Did not prevent a single bug. We're not going to need this. Per dim. Actually, this is very easy to parallelize as well the way I'm looking at it. We're actually going to keep this structured here. This is going to be something like samples. Resample frequency. I like this comment. Max suggestion costs. Minimum cost for Pareto set to be this percentile of cost data. I don't know about that one. I don't think I like that one. Yeah, we're not doing this. Okay, so this entire, now this whole carb param thing is just gone. Replaced with only a few lines here. And actually, I think that this comment will go where we actually use it. Now we got to go look at what actually is in carbs in their init function. It's actually funny because in my head, I have no idea how I'm planning on like restructuring their code. I just kind of go through it and fix small things one at a time. But I've done this exact thing like 4 or 5 times this past couple weeks with what did I do here? Oh, nothing. I did this like 4 or 5 times with different academic repos, and it's always produced like ridiculously simplified code. There's just so much to cut. Like what I'm doing now wouldn't do anything if the code were like within mostly reasonable bounds of complexity. It's just so overcomplicated that there's just so much to cut. It's pretty basic as well, a lot of this. I mean, I say that, but there's definitely like I'm way better at this now than I would have been before. Decisions would have been made differently. Need this. Don't need this. Real number spaced by name. Like this. Actually, because these are objects, I can get a flat view. So I can do this. Why do they need... I'd rather keep most of this in NumPy. You know? It's not faster the way they're doing it. In fact, their code was horribly slow. There. That's better, right? Join the community, looking forward to it. Great. Thanks for dropping by. Oops. I don't like when it tries to have complete too much for me. This is fine, except I don't like the type annotations. I don't need to annotate this as a list because it's obviously a list. And you don't need to know what type of object it is if I don't make some big fancy object. It's probably just going to be a dictionary. And this is actually this. Think in a second. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do a couple quick things. I'll be back in I don't know, 5-10 minutes ish. Then we'll do a little bit more on this, another hour or so. I'll be right back. I'm back. Very eloquent, Mr. Pepper. That about matches what we wanted as well. Perfect. Let's see this real quick. Oop. Oh. It's actually not terrible at exploring now. Got stuck all the way down that end of the maze. Holy, look at that. Ah, that got stuck there. It's weird that it gets stuck there. I wonder if there's not a bug. It took me quite some time to realize Neural MMO was you. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I might change it now. The thing is that for a while, right, people knew me from Neural MMO more, but now PufferLib's gotten, I think, bigger than Neural MMO ever was. At least if you look at like GitHub stars, contributors, Discord's about the same size or getting to be, and the Neural MMO Discord had like 3 competitions worth of participants in it. Concerns me when the puffer just gets fully stuck like that. That's kind of weird. So you can see here, like this thing it's running around quite a bit, but it's still not. It's not exploring the way that you would want like a maze solver to explore. It's pretty decent. That one actually took me a second to see the path on. That's a hard maze for it. It's got to go all the way back. It's covering a decent chunk of it though. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, even got that one. You're so close. Come on. Oh. Memory is not very good. Some of the mazes are pretty hard for it. This one has like very clear backtrack all the way. Small ones it just instantly solves. Does it get this one? Oh yeah, look at that. It even figured out that one. That's good. Whoa. Okay, this is a pretty decent little model. This model's like 170k parameters, by the way. It's tiny. This is the first sweep I ever ran on these bigger maps. Okay, we'll do some carb stuff now. But there you go. param from basic. Do that. Let's try this. Search distribution. No, we're not doing a distribution. We're not going to have that thingy around. Subjects or observe lock. I hate this. We're getting rid of this. I don't think we need this either. I see. So they seed everything there. We'll leave that alone. Num dims with bounds. We don't care. 2 to the That's kind of crazy. I wonder if there's some way to do this whole thing as one run. I don't know if there's a way to do your whole hyperframe sweep as like one contiguous run. That's another whole bunch of code gone. Now here is their suggest function. Oops, wrong button. I mean, these are both of the functions that we need. Let's see how much smaller these can be made. So what do they do? Random suggestion. This is the resample. Was this config resample frequency? So this is their basic sample logic right here. Let me just finish the full chain first. This is the rest of it. And they do like this. Yeah, so this is This is fine. This is like roughly what it'll look like. I wonder if I can, well, I have an idea for how to return it as a structured value. We'll get to that. So it's really just implementing this logic here. Generate candidate, basic space to param space. Okay, so we can get rid of this function because we no longer need this as a template. And we may as well just put the observe stuff in here. There's literally nothing here. Add observation. Yeah, there's nothing in here that's useful. Okay. What I'm going to do real quick, I can actually navigate easier. Sample search space. Holy hell, look at like how nested this is. You see this, right? I don't see how anybody codes like this. Like, just how do you keep track of what you're doing when you nest everything this deep? See, this is the actual piece of code that we want, but it was 5 levels deep. AI IDEs, why? Just like, why? It's very difficult for me to see a point in which you as a programmer are using your skill productively somehow, right? You're actually adding something, but you're letting an AI write like entire blocks of code for you. I much prefer single line complete, which is basically just a better LSP. It's just like a typing buff. Like, you can see while I'm typing, right? I do have AI autocomplete on, but you see I used it for like one line completes, right? Like if I just do like def, you see right here. So it makes me type about twice as fast. That's all it does. And prevents me from having to like allocate brain space to remembering my variable names and such. But I still do pay attention to my variable names. Yeah, but stuff like cursor and all these, like, people are not just tabbing. Like, if you're just tabbing, you don't need an IDE, right? You need a plugin for whatever you're currently using. People who are using whole IDEs built around this are like filling in giant blocks and such. It would be nice for this to have a little bit more context. You know, it would be nice to be able to initialize this with context of my code base so it picks up more variable names and such. Um, but that's like, again, that's still a plugin. I see. So they're using Torch here for the sampling. Dot sample. Huh? Wait. How are they using this? Origin samples. Origins in basic. Does that make any sense? How's this work? Oh, I guess it's because they use this for, I see. So the reason it's like this is because they also use this function for their Pareto sample. That is kind of clever. I think that this is, for this one, it's just a one-liner. It's probably something like, and then what is this? Search center plus search scale. I could see why having this be separate would be useful. Sigma is not per sample. Standard normal. Random.generator. What the hell is this? What the hell is this thing? Why did they make this? Oh, they want you to control your RNG, but that's kind of silly by default. I guess this kind of makes sense. Actually, maybe this would be useful. Right? Because probably your seeding issues do come from this. But we're not going to worry about that for now. So this is randn. I think this is the whole thing. I could be wrong, but this should be your fancy sampler. I like these long variable names. All you need to do is pass the your Pareto points, right? Should be something like this. Oh, actually, you literally don't need to do this. I'm dumb. This goes here. This is your this. And actually, watch this. The resample you can't do this for, actually, so we'll leave it. Yeah, it's only 2 of 3 that you can copy the code for. Okay, so that's the basic of it. Now there's going to have to be some sort of unnormalization. We'll get to that. Amusingly enough, this is not that far off of already being a complete implementation of, a substantially simplified one without any of the models. But this is like a Pareto optimal genetic search, essentially. Be funny if that actually worked very well. Wouldn't be surprised. Unnormalized happens at the very end, which I guess for a baseline is right here. Hold on though, what I can do is just need a way to rebuild the dictionary is all. I mean, here's a really stupid way, right? No, this doesn't work either. Okay, we'll write something. We'll write something quick for now. Something like that. And then this just needs to get the Pareto points from observations. Let's figure out how to do that. Oops. Hang on. This is suggestion. Best. Let's just do, for now, just pick one of them. You fill, okay. Success observations. And then Pareto points. Cost. Okay. So that is a basic Pareto computation. And this is a relatively Well, I gotta go grab the spaces and clean those up. Luckily, that should be easier. Look at all this mess. Okay, so there's nothing in here. Adder.s. Where did they get this adder thing? Auto attributes. Is this like a new data class? Or different data class? Oh, this is this is that's funny. Yeah, we're not using that. Howdy. Okay, we'll keep this pretty similar to their thing for now, though. I don't like it, so we're probably gonna change some stuff. So this is normal. Thing is so bad. Okay. Unnormalize. We're cutting some fat off of carbs. And by some, I mean what's that famous quote? Cutting off fat. If you rendered it, you could make soap to wash the world or something. It's one of those. Can't you just do this now? Wait, on classes without having to do anything else? Whatever. Go away, horrible types. Really do not enjoy types in Python. It's like, look at how much extra clutter they add. And they don't give you anything. They're not even enforced. All right. And we'll clean up this math, I'm sure, as well. All right, I think that's about all you need, though. And all you gotta do is... I think you just you add is integer at the top as well. Okay, so better at least. And then what's this param? Completely redundant, right? Mean equals search center. There you go. So that is a basic, I'm sure not working, but that is a basic implementation. I should go do what I need to do. Go for my run and stuff before it gets too hot outside today. We're gonna see how I'm feeling. I might come back and do some of this in the afternoon. I'm enjoying this. I should also rest a little and do catch up on a couple other work things, but we'll see. I think this is important, so I might come back to this in the afternoon. For folks watching, all this stuff is free and open source. You can check out puffer.ai for all of our demos here. These all run on the web. If you want to help us out for free, just start the repository. It really helps. Really does. And if you want to get involved with development or just following the project, join the Discord. We've got a whole bunch of RL articles and stuff on the blog here, and if you want even more, you can follow my X, where there are some additional things you can't find anywhere else in the articles, and I post a bunch about RL. The quotes from a U.S. president, I forget which one, was talking about the government, but it's a funny quote. Anyways, thank you, thanks folks, and I will